Yeah.
Anyway, Brian Preston lives in the area here, and he had me come over and shoot some pictures. And after I shot a few, he said, "You know, I think I can do better than that." And I said, "That's great. I think you can too." But I would just haven't. I'll show you 2 or 3 of them just because we need something to talk about. So this he models in the Seattle, Portland, and Tacoma area on the Great Northern. So this is part of his original layout that he built. You can see where all the switches are operated with the little red balls there. He pulls
Mhm.
on pull or push.
Yeah, push rods with the balls on the end for a handle.
Yeah, and then his DC operation, DCC Digitrack operation.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think this is, oh, up at the top it says Tacoma, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It has a pretty,
Yeah, that's a photo of the depot that he's cut out, and he's using photos for the backdrops. It looks like.
I think so.
Yeah.
And he's does cloud work pretty good. You know, he's a good little modeler for
Yep.
Where's he located?
in Benton Harbor.
Okay.
Yeah, he's enlarged his layout a lot, and of course we're not going to have those pictures, but I don't think we'll see what we got. But he has an operating. He used to have an operating session every other month, but after the COVID hit, I think he's had one since then. So a little closer of the same area.
Yep. Having just been in Tacoma 2 months ago, looking out of a hotel window down onto the yard and the depot, I recognize a little bit of what he's attempting to accomplish. So.
Yeah, one of the things is the auto racks. He has a different way of operating in that he does not, you don't have to read the name or the number on the car. His card will say, a train card will say 2 automobile racks, 2 small covered hoppers. And you go to the yard and the guy making up the train, he pulls those cars out of the yard. It doesn't matter what they are. And then that train is assigned to a town. And in there, it'll tell you what position and track to put these cars on. And of course, there's pickups also, just like we do. But because of the end, why he doesn't bother to read numbers on the on the cars. And of course, this is his auto where he's bringing new automobiles at too. There's a close up. That's an engaged dog and woman walking there.
Is that an engaged dog doo-doo up next to the door?
I think so.
Looks a little large for that dog. I don't know.
Looks like a shoe.
You know, no matter what we do, there's always seems to be a problem between
Well,
the
those are
building.
mammoth dresses too, compared to the nun walking her dog.
Yeah.
But
I
that
see
could
you're
be
home, Greg.
advertised. Yeah, I made it. I just got on. It's about 6:31. So
John told me to email him as soon as you got home so that he knows you're home safe. I
yeah.
only got another couple of pictures and then I'll get off.
All right.
So here's a little different view of that. But you know, N-gauge works pretty good for these big long cars.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what these things are, but somebody might be able to tell me. I guess they're gas containers, aren't they?
No, they were for storing some sort of a material. There's a paper mill in Tacoma down to South End, not on a peninsula across from the depot. And those might be storage for wood chips or something, digesting wood chips for paper.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay. That's one of his train sheets. You can see it's quite lengthy.
Yep. But you look at all the passenger equipment running through there, the sounder, et cetera. So, yeah.
I guess I got more on this than I thought, but you see where he does these train makeup boxes and the
Mhm.
switch pole things and that's the end of it. Okay, I'll let somebody else do it and I'll email.
Email John, let him know I'm okay. Yeah, the snow let up at about Union Pier.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but it was very thick up until that point.
Okay, I got it. Joel can't find the original email, so I'm going to send him that first. You guys go ahead with something and I'll be quiet.
Okay, I just updated the division map to show where the meeting is on Saturday. A little
Oh, good.
behind schedule here, but if you guys would look at that thing at your convenience and tell me what updates I need, what hobby shops have gone out of business or moved or so on and so forth, and I'll clean the thing up. Send me an email during the week or whatever.
Sounds good. All right, has anybody got anything today they'd like to show? I don't know if I can show what we did today yet or not. Let me see.
Well, I was taking a quick peek at some of the Train Fest pictures I took this weekend. And unfortunately, it was reusing numbers. So slide 3777 is next to slide 3777 parentheses 1 from 3 years ago. So I can't put them all up and go one after the other because every other slide would not be Train Fest. So I'll have to make a PowerPoint or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think my video from this afternoon has not transferred onto my computer yet. So I can't really show that.
Greg, we
Yes,
discussed today one thing that I really didn't know, but everybody should save your email tonight because that is the address every time for a Zoom.
yeah, I always reuse the same meeting. So yeah, that link, if I ever forget to send one, or if you can't find this week's and because you deleted it or whatever, you can use any of the emails that I've ever sent out for these Thursday or Tuesdays or whenever they were. That link is always good every week.
Yeah,
Did you
I've-
send out 2 links today, Greg, with the Michiana division and the other one?
Yeah, I did, but I was doing it from the car and because I forgot to do it yesterday, so I'm not sure if it worked or not.
I didn't
Okay,
get
I did
anything
not
from
see
you
the-
this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the division one, but not the other one.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
really?
I did save your link into my calendar now, so I got a reoccurring Thursday night notice and I saved the link in there. And the
Okay,
same
good.
with some other groups I'm a part of, so.
Yeah, I sent it from the back seat of John's car, and so something must have gone wrong, but at least the one went out.
Hello?
Hey,
No.
we went up and saw.
Who is this?
Go ahead.
Call from where?
We went up and saw Maynard Mitchell's layout today. And Maynard is he doesn't tell you much on his emails, but he is a great carver of wooden things. He showed us his duck that he had carved. It was really
good
something,
point.
wasn't it, Greg?
Oh,
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, like every separate feather had the texture of a feather. If you stood even a foot away from it, you know, the feathers on the head that are smooth looked exactly like a duck. It even quacked like a duck.
Of course, we saw his layout and it's absolutely as good as everything that you saw. but he doesn't have everything completed. Would you say maybe 40%?
Yeah, maybe 40 or 50%, especially he's got some placeholder buildings in there that are not right for the era stuff that he built a long time ago. So he's got plenty to do in there. That's going to keep him busy for many years.
He was, yeah, he was telling us about how he takes care of the track. And he says, I almost never have a derailment. He said, I really never have a derailment, but we'll leave it at maybe almost.
Because we just can't conceive of such a
He
thing.
has a round thing that he said you can get at a hardware store. What do you call that?
It's
The
a
honing stone.
Honing stone. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah.
And he honed that track until when the locomotive ran across switches and stuff and the cars, it
It
looked
doesn't
like
move.
it was on solid rail.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no bounce, nothing to it. It
Completely unrealistic.
was fantastic.
There's no clickety clack.
And of course, he joined up with Bob Blake's school of let the engine go up to run 8, and then you start the engine slowly, and then you cut it back from whatever 8. I can't think what I'm trying to say here, but help me out,
Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah, so he's got the decoder set up, so you hit run 8 and the engine revs up, and then he starts the locomotive moving and it just starts creeping. And then he hits run 8 again and the engine actually comes back down, and then it runs realistically, and he's got the momentum set up there also. So it's about, what did he say, 150 scale feet or something that it takes it to stop on the
Yeah.
when it's a road engine.
Yeah.
What he does with the honing stone is he takes a black felt marker and he runs that marker down the track, and then he uses the stone on there until that black marker is gone off of everything. So then he knows it's perfectly smooth. And then there's 2 sides to that stone. So the aggressive side first, and then he uses the polished side, and then he uses an Arkansas stone, which is super hard to then polish the rail and get it smooth. And then he takes that stone and goes along the edge to take off any burr that might be left over from what he's doing. And that track is as smooth as can be.
He was telling us that he had a friend that had a box of old junk Shinohara number 8 switches that the guy gave him. He said, they're broken and everything else. He said, I fixed every one of them, and that's
Yeah.
what I use.
He had to replace a couple of frogs, but so when I put this video together, I've got video of him describing some of these techniques. The other thing that he does is he made a rubber mold of a master of this limestone that he had carved from some kind of fibrous material. He doesn't remember what it was, but he knows some guys in Kalamazoo that were able to make this plastic mold for him. And so he's got these limestone bluffs everywhere, and it's taken him some time to perfect the painting method to get the finish just right on it, but he spent a lot of time on that, so that these limestone bluffs look very realistic. They are different where there are cuts. You can see that how they did the cut. They bored down into the stone and blasted it. Whereas in the other scenic areas where it's old and hasn't been disturbed, it's gray and rounded off. It's just the detail is something to behold. And of course, he used a lot of these fine scale techniques in the buildings. We've seen the pictures of his buildings. So I took about probably 20 minutes of video, and what I thought I would do for we'll be off next week for Thanksgiving, but then for let's see, that's the 24th. So I guess it'll be the 1st of December or something like that. I'll put together, I'm going to rearrange some of the audio so it links up, because I wasn't always filming what he was talking about, but he'll be able to, you'll see his technique for creating that limestone and some of that. I've got a lot of pictures of his too, so maybe I'll do a whole thing with that.
Mhm.
And we'll be able to see some of it, but it's remarkable.
Greg, I'll send you the pictures that I kept from what he sent us.
Yeah.
And the company that he works with is Alumilite. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the mold, what he did, he went in, Alumilite people were really great people to work with. We used to serve them on our with telephone service. And they would help you make the mold. And of course, their stuff isn't cheap, but it's really works fine. And then you use the Alumilite to make the actual whatever you're going to make. He didn't use that for his rocks, I don't think. I'm sure he used plaster.
Yeah, I think that's plaster.
But if you want to make, in my case, that cab for that steam locomotive is made with Alumilite.
Mhm. It's a casting material.
Yes,
You-
yes, that's what I should say.
They'll sell you a kit with the stuff to make the mold and the casting resin to cast what you want out of the mold, etc. So, yeah. So I did find something I could share if you guys are interested.
Oh, great. Yeah, let's see
Good,
it.
good.
Well, let's see if we can share screen here. There's been some discussion among Ron's email group about farm tractors. So I've got a directory of photos of farm tractors, believe it or not.
Nice.
Most of them related to railroad loads, such as this load of case tractors coming out of Racine. So let's see, we'll just go through here and see some of them are pretty small. We'll have to blow them up. But here's some Allis Chalmers coming out of the factory. What's interesting is how they're loaded on the flat cars, depending on the size of the tractor and whether they have a narrow frame or narrow front end or wide front end. These happen to have the wide front end, so you can see they can only get 4 tractors per flat car. And notice the blocking down here.
Mhm.
You wouldn't have chains or chain binders or something. They might use wire to wire the tires down, but mostly was blocking is what held the tractors on the flat cars. Let's see, another small one here. More Allis Chalmers. You see these are shorter. They're still a wide frame, but they're sitting completely crosswise on the flat cars. So you can get more tractors per car. This is an advertisement for Allis Chalmers. You can see, it's a calendar or advertisement drawing. But notice the blocking and how these tractors are sitting on it. And what they've got is they got 4 different models. So they're advertising the new, the kid here is yelling to his dad, "Hey, the new tractors are in town."
Yeah, everybody showed up. They're getting out of their cars. I mean,
Yep,
everybody's
just
excited.
like when the new cars always showed up at the dealership every September, October. Everyone had to go down and see them. So,
Yeah.
but, calendar work can sometimes give you a good idea of coloring and et cetera. Now this one's interesting because here we got an Allis Chalmers dozer sitting on a Rio Grande narrow gauge flat car. And this one they are using chain binders to tie down. So because the chains will stay with probably the crawler or the flat car, either one, as it might be a work train service situation. So
Doesn't look like a new one either, so they're not worried about.
no, it's been around for a while. This is a Santa Fe flat car, truss rod flat car from 1912 with a steam tractor and some sort of farm implement behind it.
Don't you think that's a road grader?
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. It looks something like a road grader. But back in 1912, this is how they ship things. And again, there's the blocking. You don't see any chains or anything tying it down. They pretty much just let the weight of the vehicle sit on the flat car and kept it from rolling. So here we are. This is, what do we got here? Aurora Western Austin Manufacturing, heavy equipment leaving yards and flat cars. Another manufacturer, Aurora Western or Western something, Western Austin Manufacturing. on some Santa Fe flat car here in front. But again, look at all the blocking around this grader to keep it from moving and keep the blade from swinging out of place. And those are not just 2x4s. Those
No.
are some pretty heavy beams.
Yeah.
So, see how much we can zoom in on this one back here. So this looks more like some sort of a backhoe or
Mhm.
something there, but I just find these fascinating types of photos to collect. So let's see. Okay, here we go. This is a Bale-O-Matic made by Minneapolis Moline. So this would probably be up in Hopkins, Minnesota, just southwest of the Twin Cities, on a Minneapolis and St. Louis flat car, it looks like, because M and St. L serve the Minneapolis Moline plant. So here we get some, looks like some dunnage or something laying here on the ground. So, oh, this is a Best 60, a Best 60 merged with Holt to form the Caterpillar company. And after the merger, the Cat had a Model 60 that they sold, was basically the Best 60 just in yellow instead of gray paint. There's one with a corrugated iron housing working on some sort of a project, looks like a road or something of that nature. And Rio Grande Models has made a really nice cast metal HO scale model of the Best 60. Unfortunately, Rio Grande, he's decided to retire. I don't know whether this molds and things have been sold to somebody else or not. So if you see a Rio Grande model sitting around, snatch it up because they're disappearing. Here's another Best 60 with a blade at work. They are very interesting. You see how the 60 is marked right there on the edge of the radiator. And these would be painted gray and the lettering would be red. Later in the Caterpillar, when Caterpillar was selling them, it would say Caterpillar on the front of the radiator instead of Best. The 60 would be here in black and the rest of the unit would be painted in Caterpillar yellow. It would be the exact same tractor, or crawler as they call them. Yeah, I collected a few Best. I got a couple of the Rio Grande models. That's why I've collected a bunch of photos of them in operation. You can see by the size of this guy, they're not really big machines.
Mhm.
So there's again at work, moving dirt, shoving stuff around. This is another Best 60. I'm not familiar with what model this is, but this is a 1923. So these crawler tractors have been around for a long time. Headlights remind me of frog eyes.
Mhm.
Notice the little canvas that cover the radiator, so it would, and they've obviously got a cab on here, so they're collecting the heat to keep warm in the winter months. So, but that's a nice clean photo
Yeah.
of a Best 60. Got the same motor that's in that Best 60 as in whatever this one is.
This is
Track layer or something, just
Track layer.
yeah, much shorter wheelbase. So this is a load of Case threshing machines on, you see what railroad that is, Ron?
CNW, I guess.
Yes, that's Chicago Northwestern. So these would be coming out of probably, I don't know, Racine, Wisconsin, or if they're coming out of the Quad Cities. I'm not sure where Case made their threshing machines at.
I want you to
Probably
look
up in, I'm
look at
going to
that
guess
signal.
Wisconsin. Yeah. Yeah, the banjo single there.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
probably dates that around the 1900s.
But I think it's probably in the mailbox. Get it tomorrow.
Wait a minute, I see there's a banner here. Let's see if we can. I can't make it out enough to read what it's
What,
outside the case.
The other blonde in the show,
Yeah,
the one with the big brown eyes,
yeah.
she is married to, okay, think about,
I guess they're not talking to me, so. Another small one, but look at this. A Case tractor coming out of the end of the boxcar. And you know, this is an early double sheath wood boxcar with end doors. Look at the lettering on there advertising the Case Cub, whatever. I just. There's a model for you to build, Rich. Oh, missed one in here. Okay, now here's a Caterpillar at work in 1946. It's got cable winch back here, goes up and over. Used to lift and lower the blade, no hydraulics yet in place. Notice the Caterpillar sign there on the side. This is I think that's a D7. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Notice how rounded this end of the hood is. Boy, I think Dynamodels made a cast metal version of this Caterpillar with that rounded on the back end, but. Mhm. And here we got a D6 Caterpillar from 1940. And the darker Caterpillar yellow, it's a diesel. But again, you can see how the Caterpillar lettering is cast into the radiator housing in several places. And of course, the black leather seat. You know, if you're building models or painting them, you got to pay attention to these details. The handles are black, the seat's black, the lettering's black, but the rest of the unit's yellow, except for the tracks themselves, which are a shiny steel that's got dirt and rust on it. So here is a load of Caterpillars on an SP train somewhere. This is taken by Richard Steinberger, whatever his name is, that passed away recently. But we're looking down on, you know, you can see a couple nice Caterpillars here, load of lumber. This says Elmhurst, Illinois, 1959. I'm not sure whose tractors they are, but notice how they're narrow front end, so they're loaded at an angle on the flat cars. So it looks like they're getting at least 6 tractors per flat car on there.
I'd guess Massey Harris.
Okay,
It's just the way the hood is. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
well, yeah, and they all had distinct features, so you very well could be right. I just don't see enough lettering to tell me for sure. So,
Well, that's a lot of them. They go off into the
oh yeah, yeah,
horizon.
that's. Yeah, so,
Great
yeah, it's-
goose shot.
yep. And here's I think this is the same train. So they are Massey, aren't they? What's the lettering on that radiator say?
Well, that's 2 words, I think.
It looks to me like Massey Harris. Yeah. Yeah, and look at that. It looks like they're running it with it's an Alco, either a switcher or something like an RS2.
Where's the smoke?
Okay, here we got, oh, this is Los Angeles construction of train tracks, but you got the pile driver here working away. Here we go. This is a co-op tractor. These were sold through your co-ops. They were sold across Canada and in some parts of the United States with a threshing binder machine. Let's see, got a cock shut combine. So this shot's taken in Canada, 1942, the co-op tractor and a cock shoot combine.
That's kind of unusual because it looks like they're behind
Oh.
the thrash machine's straw stack.
Yeah,
I think they're on their way to the field, maybe.
that could be. Yeah. This came from a collection in Saskatchewan. A fellow who went around shooting color slides, he started shooting black and white in the 30s, but color by the 40s. And there's a museum up there that has posted all his stuff. Just some beautiful photos of
Great shot.
grain elevators and oil jobbers and farm equipment scenes like this. So.
Yeah, you see the guy up there in the oats bin.
Yeah. He's doing something up there, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta quit playing with my mouse here for a second, so. Let's see what we can get for the next one. Okay, there's another shot of that crane in operation on those tracks. So. Steam powered boiler with a stiff-legged derrick here operating the crane boom. Another shot of that same scene. Here we go. We got some crawlers on a flat car again. These are the, notice how the seat itself is all crated, got a crate over it covering and protecting the leather. Somebody's put some chalk marks on the blade here. We got the winch on the back to raise and lower the blade. And look at the cribbing.
I don't think that's a Caterpillar. I wonder if it's a International or a, I can't think what else I was thinking, but
Maybe an Allis Chalmers, but this
Yeah.
this angle is not Caterpillar from that.
Alice Chalmers, I was thinking, or International.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't record who or what, and I can't make out whose flat car it is. So. But you know, there's some nice models of this type of stuff out anymore to where you can do some nice flat car loads. Whether it's new or used equipment, or say equipment being moved to a logging operation or something. Now, here's an interesting load. This is a couple of John Deere tractors, 1946, a narrow and a wide front end, but we're on a Rio Grande flat car. I don't think this is a narrow gauge. It might be. But now you can see here where they're using the wire. They didn't use chains because they couldn't guarantee the chains would come back. So they just used like number 9 wire and wrapped around and twisted. And you can see how they wrapped it around the hub here and down through a stake pocket. And you can see where they've twisted the wire with a stick to tighten it up. And that's typically how there you can see another wire there and one there. And that's how these things were shipped. They'd be blocked and then use wire. The wire would be tossed away. It was so. That same shot. This is it's not farm equipment, but it's certainly an interesting load on some Rio Grande flat cars. These, I think, are, I don't know if they're insulators. Who's the electrician in the group?
Yeah, they don't look like insulators to me. I don't know. They look like baseballs.
I think that's, I think they're insulators. Zoom in on one of those up on top. It's got lots of ridges on it.
Yes,
Oh, okay, I see that now. Well,
Yeah.
John would know.
Looks like
Well-
a three-phase switch.
Looks like a beer keg.
but how would you like to get your hands on half a dozen of those to make flat car loads with?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting to see? And it looks like they've been wrapped with paper or cardboard or something, and most of it's come off.
Yeah, it's taking a beating.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a clearance problem too, I would imagine.
it could be. There's that same photo there again, and that one we've seen. What do we got? Oh, this is some farmalls on some Milwaukee flat cars. These are some small farmalls. These might be C's, something like that. They're pretty small. It's a very tiny photograph, so it's hard to make out. But again, you can see they're loaded at an angle with the blocking. You can see the wire ties. Here is a Farmall what
Twenty.
was it, an F2?
20.
Yep. This
Looks
photo
like
is
an F20.
1940. So. Got the spoked wheels instead of the solid plate, and we got a narrow front end. There's another shot of the same tractor. Okay, here we get some Farmall Cubs loaded up on flat cars. You can see they're short enough they can go sideways, and they alternate them back and forth so the wheels get nestled in. That's how they loaded them up. I don't know where this photo's at, but we got clinch field covered hoppers in the background. So probably somewhere in the southeast. So they might be getting ready to unload these somewhere. But you got 10 tractors on that flat car. So. Oh. I'm holding two down. Back up. Here we got here's a Farmall H with an AC combine.
Super H.
Ah, it's a Super H, yeah, with the McCormick label on there as well. Then you got the IH, the International Harvester there on the nose. So.
That's a pretty small tractor for that combine.
Yeah, this is taken in my hometown, Indianola.
Hmm.
So this is photo taken in the late 40s or more likely early 50s.
I think he's combining beans.
That's what it looks like. Yep. Here we got, these are more Farmalls. International Harvester tractors. This is 1935 in Boston. And an Erie flat car there. But these are still got the steel tires with lugs.
You know, Doug, the lugs aren't on there, are they?
No, they just got the bolt holes there.
Yeah, I suppose that's, it makes it easier to load that way.
Doesn't tear up the flat cars as bad. If it wasn't in Boston, I'd say maybe it's going to Amish country to sell to those Amish who will use tractors, or the Mennonites, but we'll just, but that's a 1935 photo, so not out of the range of some of us who model. Double clicking here, excuse me. Now this is a shot in Rock Island at the Farmall factory. Load of new Farmalls and flat cars being pulled by CB&Q. Look at all the tractor tire rims stacked up here. So
I would say that's after 1960, but not very long. Early 60.
well, the photo was dated 1959
Ah,
based on my name of the photo up here. So yeah.
Yeah,
It
they
could be-
built those starting in 59, I think.
Okay. I'm still learning my tractors. That's one thing I'm starting to get a handle on, but don't know them well enough yet to say what these are. And okay, here we got another load of Monon 3 units with, these are all marked as Farmalls. And as you can see, it's just flat car after flat car after flat car going somewhere. Okay, here's that guy with the grin in his F2. Looks like he's got a single wheel front end. And there's the pulley for any belt operated. And here we have a Farmall M with a tractor, with a plow. This is the Lifelike tractor model. Is that an M or Super NAM that Lifelike did? Do you know, Ron?
I think it's just an M.
Yeah,
There's no difference in actual size. The motor was just a few more horsepower.
yep. They were a little bit bigger than the H.
Yes,
And the M's were manufactured from 1939 to 1954. So those tractors are just perfect loads for my era. So,
We had a 300, which was
Ah,
which happened at 300 was the H, the next series after the H.
yep, they
The
started building
400
those in
was
the
the
early
next
50s.
series after the M.
Yeah, I think they started building those in 54.
That's probably about right,
Mm-hmm,
because I drove it a few years before I left home.
mm-hmm. This is a load of those. Let's see, these are not the Lifelike tractors. These might be the Sunshine models tractors.
I think they are.
Yeah. But notice the blocking is on somebody's Northern Pacific flat car, but somebody did a really nice job of modeling these.
I think the Lifelike is actually better than this. The problem with this is the steering wheel.
Yep, and whoever modeled it forgot to paint the seat black or white.
Now, some of them were silver
Yeah, that's right, silver. So,
or black, but silver was often the color.
yep.
I think my AM has a red seat.
Ah, okay. The rest of you are all taking notes on this, right?
Yeah.
Here's an MTA. This had what we would call an automatic. It was a torque amplified transmission. There you see it's got the white or silver seat.
Yeah, we had, our 300 had that. You know what, if you're, say you're plowing in second gear and you hit a real tough spot, you pull back the lever, it's like going out a half a gear lower.
Mm-hmm. Ah, and for those who remember Oddballs decals, after Lifelike brought out their tractor, he did a decal, and I happened to acquire some recently, scanned them. This is not, I think maybe I have a better, no, yeah, here's his paperwork. Yeah, what I did was I took a marker and marked the back side of the decal paper so you can see better what was included. And his decals were for an age. So every once in a while, you might find one of these decal sets in a hobby shop. I got mine from Carol up in Cedar Falls a year or two ago. They were in a collection that she'd bought. So, but I've scanned them so that if I ever have to try to get them reproduced, I've got the artwork. Here is, this is again, one of those Farmall, I think it's an F2. I'm not sure, they may be harvesting something like potatoes here. Or they're in Hartford, it's a canning company, Hartford, Wisconsin. So they're digging something up out of the ground.
That's a fascinating casting on the front there in front of the radiator. It looks like it's involved in the steering column. Yeah, looks like an upside down horseshoe.
Yeah, they had an unusual way that they did their turning on there. You know, there's a universal up there in front, and it's lacking at cover. The guy took the cover off of the front of the locomotive.
Yeah. Here, let's see if I can zoom in so we can get a. Yeah, you had the steering wheel came up here and it turned a knuckle joint of some sort that then came down, turned this, and that moved this arm from one end back and forth. Isn't that how they work, Ron?
Well, I think that I don't know what you want to call it, horseshoe or whatever. I think that was just part of the frame. I don't think that ever moved. They needed the reinforcing. I think there's just a whole shaft down there that moves, that turns.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye out for these, maybe get a better clear one where we can get it. But I just
Go-
like this.
Go to the
This-
right in the front of the picker. Those big balls, there's 4 balls there, yeah.
I don't know, but
Uh,
Maybe
overall.
take a watermelons for a moment.
You know, there's a man on that machine.
Yeah,
Yep. He's probably throwing out the rocks.
Yeah, those could be flasks of, little helper juice there.
Yeah.
It could be a rock picker, there were things like that.
Well,
they're too round to be
Yeah,
rocks, but
I agree with you. And you don't
Well,
see
and
any
because-
at all in the field.
and because it's a canning company truck, they're picking up something that they're
Yeah.
canning.
Yeah, it's something that's low to the ground.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or, yeah. But it's a nice scene with the tractor and whatever this equipment is, and then this truck here. I could see it's a Ron Christensen building a little diorama based on this photograph and taking it to next RPM meet.
If I was
what kind
10
of
years
truck is
younger, I
that?
would
Is that a
be.
Rio?
Or is it an international? Yeah,
Oh, boy, I would guess international. I don't know.
I'm looking at that long
Okay.
label there, and yeah, I can't quite make out the,
You'd have to have a good truck man to tell you what that was.
Yeah,
yeah,
that logo on the front almost looks like an IH.
Yeah,
okay.
I can see that.
And then look at where his mirror is up here, so he can see how the load's coming along.
Yeah,
Ah,
Good catch.
Yeah. And he's got a good sized fuel tank on there. So,
Look at all the open and uncovered chains on that machine. OSHA wasn't anywhere around, were they?
oh, no, this is long before that and the open drive shaft from the tractor
Mhm.
going back there. Yeah, all that stuff. So. Here's another shot. I think this is also from Rock Island. We got a load of farm tractors, shorter ones crossways on their flat cars. So. I think that's an L&N flat car there. But, that's just a lot of tractors.
when you see a whole train like that, I think you'll find that most of that is export
I,
to Europe
Yeah,
or other.
post-war, yeah.
sure. Yeah. Oh, the mouse got away from me again. Okay, now here is Trevor Marshall's model of using. I don't know if Trevor used the lifelike model or the,
I think it's Sunshine.
yeah,
It's the steering wheel that gives it away.
He detailed that engine compartment a little bit.
Yeah.
yes, he did. Yeah, zoom in here and you can see where he's touched up a couple spots with some paint. So. But and in his blocking, he weathered the wood. And if you look in the photos, you see almost all of it's brand new wood, you know,
Yeah.
so. But again, Trevor's a good modeler. He does a good job. Let's see what we got here. This is another shot of farm oils in Rock Island. So. Can't quite make out what they are. They're the newer, more modern stuff. Here's an AC crawler on a Illinois terminal flat car. This is 1977. Look at the blocking here that they've put on there. You got a crate. The crate's got some tie downs and chains around it. But I can see the cables here for the tractor going through that ring on the front end. So. The AC had a little bit brighter yellow than the Caterpillars.
Earlier ACs were orange.
These are predecessor to Minneapolis Molines.
Hmm.
Yeah, the TC or CT tractors, Twin Cities tractors. They were part of what merged into Minneapolis Moline.
Hmm.
And here they are being loaded. We got some thrashing machines back here, more flat cars waiting to be loaded.
Tractor like that value would be about $90,000 today if it was rehab.
Yeah.
I just saw it on the tractor sales down in Davenport, Meacham.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, there was a bunch of them from that museum that closed up, and tractors of that era were selling at about $90,000.
ooh.
The
Well,
best one was a Altman. I think it sold for $300,000.
Oh,
Oh.
man.
yeah, yeah. Now here's a new Ford tractor getting unloaded off a truck, an enclosed tractor trailer. But this is 1944 in Illinois. Look at the planking they're using to just offload onto this farmer's ramp. And if we look clear in the background, look at that. There is a Blatz beer
Yeah,
billboard.
That's an eye for detail.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, I gotta tell you, that's not my family, but that's the kind of hat my dad would wear. And you see that little boy there, that looks about like me. The guy I'm talking about is the guy on the left. That would be more like my dad, not this other guy.
oh, this one right here.
Yeah, he's pretty portly like that. And he had a hat like that.
Okay, this is a Ford factory. These are all Ford tractors waiting to be loaded up. So I don't see any flat cars in there at the moment for loading, but and here's a nice one. We saw somebody at the Collinsville RPM at build a diorama based on this photograph with the Ford tractors coming out of the Penzi Auto box car.
That guy comes from Battle Creek. He's, I can't think of his name though.
What is it? Viking has got a really nice model, these little Ford tractors, and
That's Ferguson tractor.
Ferguson, okay. But
If you want the best model, get to GHQ.
all right.
I probably made a half a dozen or better of those.
Beautiful shot of that Penzi round roof car.
Ford Typhoon Tractor Des Moines. I don't know. That's 57. I don't know what that's about. We'll move on. Here we go. This is what that write-up was about. Ford had a factory in Des Moines for a while. They made the Ford Typhoon tractor. I don't know what the Typhoon refers to. Turbocharged. So it's got a hood scoop on it. We got
No idea.
dual headlights. Got wheel weights back here. And a lot of guys in ties looking at it.
you don't see too many guys driving a tractor in a tie unless you're watching Green Acres.
Yeah, yeah.
And the music just plays in your head, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, and then I got into corn elevators, hay elevators for a while, so I've got a few photos of those in operation. Looks like we got a couple international tractors here, and of course a red elevator that's an adjustable. He's loading hay into his barn. Here we got an Illinois Central flat car with a load of tractors, and I cannot tell you what kind of tractor they are.
Notice there's no seat.
Yes. So these might be something for an export. Illinois Central very well could be something on, John Deere coming out of Waterloo. I just don't recognize the tractors.
I don't either.
So. Here's another Illinois. We got Oliver's.
Beautiful.
Can we stop at the Oliver for a minute?
Sure.
I just had an email from Mark Fedderson, and he said, "Where's the exhaust pipe on the ones that we got?" So I
Did they
looked
go-
at your pictures, Doug, and they all have exhaust pipe. Interesting, none of these have exhaust pipes.
Well, you know, there were some tractors where the exhaust went down and underneath and out the back,
I
similar
know,
to a car.
everybody agrees with you. The best thing to do is to put a wire through the hub and cut the wheels off.
Yeah. Well, notice these have temporary shipping wheels on them. This one doesn't even have the front wheel assembly there. There's no
Are those
tires on
temporary
this one.
wheels or is those lugged wheels that they used back when on some
I think they're
places?
temporary.
They're temporary. They're too narrow for the,
Oh, that's, yeah, okay.
I'm too tall.
yeah. I think they were just temporary for shipping.
I saw some up in Wisconsin Internationals that had, they told me that the tires had to be bought in Europe. That they could not ship a car, though, to that particular batch, because those tires had to be bought in Europe, wherever they were
Sure.
shipped to,
Import restrictions.
I
Yeah,
guess. So the rims had blocks of wood in the rims where there'd normally be a tire, so that it, wouldn't bend the rim up.
mm-hmm. I just happened to notice that right behind this flat car is a string of bunk cars for a work train.
Mhm.
We got a Pennsy hopper here, so this must be somewhere out east. Pennsylvania, probably. Anyway, nice photo of some tractors on a flat car. Here's another shot of that Illinois Central car. Yep, we got some Oliver 70s. I can see the 70 now.
Pennsy
There you can see
lopsided
how-
background.
You can see how narrow those steel wheels are.
Yeah, well,
They're
Hmm.
just maybe an inch wide or so. So that's just strictly shipping to meet those tariff demands of the Europeans, apparently.
Interesting, just one wheel in front.
Yep.
That wasn't very popular.
No. No, it's the same shot there. Okay, here we got, it says International 1020 tractors in Milwaukee in 1911. So. I don't see boilers on there, so I don't, these look like, they look almost like a steam tractor that someone's just maybe put a gasoline motor on the front end of it to run it.
I bet those are desolate tractors. And what you're seeing, that white there,
Yeah,
that's the radiator.
uh-huh. See if we can. Yeah, it looks like some fins or ribs or something on the side there.
The radiators were almost a big box that they dripped water down through. It was not very scientific.
Mm-hmm. There's that farmall shot again. Okay, what do we got? All right, here we got some International Harvester, they're tractors, they called them. And these look like they have some sort of a long arm crane working off of this.
Yeah.
They look like a pipe layer.
Pipe layer boom, yeah. Look at the blocking. That's fairly new wood. That's not old weathered wood. I'm gonna have to give Trevor some grief about that one. Here's some new farmalls on Milwaukee.
Hey, notice how the steering wheel is high on those, I think. And those are real ones.
Yeah. And notice how the seats turned up so it won't get.
I'm criticizing the steering wheel, and there it is. It really is the way it is.
They got it wrong at the factory too, Ron.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, oh,
That's a nice shot.
of course, if you got implements coming into town, you gotta have implement dealerships. So here's an old International dealership building. looks like a standard DPM brick building with a bunch of tractors in front. And some international trucks. With the, of course, the hatchery next door, but here's a good scene for Maynard to do.
Yep.
Ah. Okay, these are international crawlers for the Navy and Army, 1945. That one's labeled Army on it, so. Had a fellow one church who, he was a contractor carpenter and he got started in the Seabees during his military career. So. Okay, here's a load of international tractors going up to the Great Northern Paper Company. Notice we got a main potato boxcar back there. A couple of coaches. So that this was a mixed train that was delivering these new Caterpillars to a logging operation for a paper company. You can see the blocking and the flat cars, so. Look at this. I love the guy in the suit carrying, he's helping, he's carrying something off.
He's got the bill of lading or something.
Yeah, yeah. He's working hard. Yeah. Now notice they don't have black leather seats. They have a tan leather seat, it looks like. And these would probably be, international red. Okay, here's some fairly new case units on TTX flat cars. Look at that string going around that curve.
Going to
Three
the West Coast.
Yep, 3 tractors per flat car, and these are those 60, 70-foot flat cars. Here we got a John Deere, I'm going to say a B getting painted. And look at it, they have shop trucks too, just like we modelers, when we're running stuff through the paint booth, we put the old trucks on so it doesn't get messed up. And again, where's OSHA? He's not wearing his paint mask. He hasn't got any ice shield or goggles and the stuff he's spraying out of there is not anything you want to breathe.
Yeah, noxious.
And then look at the chain. This is a chain line where if this is hooked up to something where the tractors are pulling through and he's just standing here spraying paint as it goes by. So. Okay, here's a John Deere with a cultivator somewhere in Iowa. Here's a diagram of a John Deere. All the different parts you want. Ooh, okay, that's that same John Deere on the Rio Grande flat car. Now here we're getting into some construction equipment. This is right up Ron's alley.
I don't know what that thing is.
Wow.
That's a scraper.
Yeah, but I don't know. That is really something different.
That's a Latourne. I don't know, Latourne.
Latourno.
I don't know how it's pronounced.
Latorno.
Latarno. These were made, and were they made in Peoria or somewhere in Indiana?
I think they were made in Peoria.
Yep.
That is a most unusual cab. It's almost like they decided to put a truck cab on it.
Yeah.
It looks to me like something out of Star Wars.
It looks like it's gonna fall forward.
Yep.
I don't know what's holding the front up.
Oh, there is.
All the weight from the
Yeah.
scraper hanging off the back end.
Yeah.
And they only had they didn't have front wheels.
Mm-mm. Okay, here's one mounted on a flat car
Yeah, it's
for
the same
military.
Yeah.
Now, see here, this scraper's got a set of wheels on the front, like you
Yeah,
would.
pull type,
Yep.
Caterpillar pull type. The Paterno had, that was all that stuff up above is, and they were one of the first ones to make a scraper.
Mhm. Okay, here's some lifelike tractors on flat car.
Boy, they look great, don't they?
Yeah.
They nailed the steering wheel. I don't know about anything.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, someone got decals on it. They did get the stack painted and the wheels painted, but they still didn't get the seat cover painted.
Yeah,
So,
It's weathering on the flat car deck.
yeah. And the blocking is new,
yeah.
and he's got, let's see, I don't know if I can zoom in enough to see. Yeah, it looks like chains. Should be
Yeah.
wire. Did get the oil filter here painted.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's using oddball decals because he's got H's on there, so. Still a nice looking load.
Mhm.
Here we are. Okay, this is loading IH crawler tractors in 47. So driving right off the factory dock onto the flat cars. New lumber there for blocking. Okay, here's a Minneapolis. This is an alphabetical order in case you couldn't tell. There's Minneapolis Molines being loaded. The plant was served by the MSNL and the Milwaukee. So they were tracks on either side. Oh. This is a Madrid, Iowa International Harvester Company demonstration. Looks like a corn sheller operation. Got some truckloads of corn ready to be shelled, and we've got somebody's tractor with the running the belt down to the sheller. There's another diorama scene for you, Ron.
I like it.
Oops. Well, I jumped a couple of them there, sorry. Can't control the mouse tonight. Now here's a nice little tractor. Look at that manure fork. That's what it's labeled for in 1943. It looks like, yeah, it looks like it says Caterpillar on there. So. That's a small one, but he can move a lot of manure. Something you should probably have handy around me if I'm talking too much. So. Okay, here we got some Massey Harris self-propelled combines. Look at that comfort cab that's included with the self-propelled combine.
Yeah.
Nice air conditioning.
Yeah. Here's some McCormick Deering. These are on a CB&Q flat car. No, it's not CB, New York Central, but I got it labeled CB&Q. Maybe it's on a CB&Q train. But look at the cables they're using to tie these down with in the blocking. Pretty heavy wire there. Okay, this is McCormick Deering plant in Kansas City. Got some, looks like some early combines sitting there. Not sure what the Santa Fe stock cars are doing there, but. Here's some threshing, McCormick Deering threshing machines in 1925. Very nice shiny metal there. McCormick Mughal tractors, 1914. Ooh, this is before they merged with Deering. Looks like a chain drive operation.
I don't know what that thing is.
Yeah,
Was it loaded in gondolas?
this is even before Ron's time.
Yeah,
And it says McCormick Deering McCormick relief tractors, 1925. Wonder if these are getting shipped overseas after World War I ended.
sounds like it.
Okay, somebody was experimenting with Minneapolis Moline Prairie Gold paint, trying all kinds of different spray cans and, like Home Depot School Bus Yellow and Special Mix. And which one is the correct color?
I
It's
like
not just the railroaders that argue over what's the correct color. The tractor guys do too.
I kind of like 9.
You like 9?
I kind of like it.
The school bus yellow?
Yeah, depends on how far away you are to looking at it.
Yep. Now this one I see says Sherwin-Williams. That's another Sherwin-Williams. And a match to the underside of certain engine. We'll move on. Going past my time. Here's Minneapolis Moline Factory, 1939.
Wow.
Here we got some tractors on the flat car. Nice fresh wood blocking, wide front end. Here are some crated for export. Notice how the whole front end has got a crate over it to protect it. Here's a few M's that may not make it.
Yeah.
Monon Ash Grove, wherever that's at. Okay, here's a road grader in Des Moines. Not sure what the. We got a tow truck, we got a dump truck stuck in the mud, and they brought the road grader in because the tow truck probably didn't have enough oomph to get it out.
Boy, that is stuck. Whoa.
Yep. That's good Iowa gumbo there.
Real dirt road.
Yeah. Here's another Minneapolis Moline tractor going to Austria. Again, you see how it's crated up and.
UNRRA, does anybody know what that is?
Is the United Nations something, Rural Relief Association?
Maybe.
United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration. Gotta have a few more syllables in there.
Yeah, because I know rural relief was at one time used in some early, after World War II. UNICEF grew out of that, and one of the United Methodist programs grew out of some of that, so. I was looking on there to see if we can see a date of any sort, but
That's a very clear picture too.
yeah. Yeah, I don't see any date on there, but definitely Minneapolis Moline coming out of Minnesota. Here's a nice shot. It's not railroad, but got some John Deere's being loaded on flatbed trucks to be delivered. Again, you can, they're angling them in there so they can get more loaded on the truck. They got their wood blocking in place. Another new tractor getting delivered much earlier. Now this one's got the lugs on it.
Plow behind it.
Yeah. Here's that Minneapolis Moline shot again. Okay, here's a close-up of that Oliver 70. There you can see that that's not a tire you're going to be running this tractor on.
Unless you're slicing pizza.
Yeah, there we go. But that's a really nice shot of an Oliver 70. So. Same one again. Let's see. Yeah, here we got repeat of the Olivers on the IC car. Here we go. Here's some early Olivers on a Rock Island car. Here's a down shot. The whole, that's quite a string of Oliver tractors on flat cars there. So. This might be coming out of Charles City. Because that's where the factory was. This is a PLE flat. That would be. Oh, PLE is. Anyways. Well, we got a. I can't. Nice crane truck. Windows all covered over with cardboard so they don't get broke. These are international balers. Look how they're stacked up on end here for shipping. Loaded two across in the flat car. Crate with more parts. Here we are loading them up. It's got a trailer train flat car, so this has got to be late 50s, 60s. Got some nice case tractors there. Okay, here we get, okay, this is Rock Island flat car with those Minneapolis Moline crated for overseas. Okay, this is just a scan. An Illinois Central flat car. It's got some dunnage on it in front of a freight. Oh, here's why, because that flat car had a tractor on one end, 2 tractors. So this was a partial delivery. These just say scan, so I don't know anything about these photos. I'll have to figure out where I got it up. They're Conway.
It could be Conway, Arkansas.
That's quite possible, yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here's how to build a flat car load from 1955 model railroader or
Yeah.
model Craftsman.
I suspect you got that from me.
That's very possible, Ron. I beg, borrow, and steal from all kinds of nice people.
I copied that because I thought maybe someday I'd build it.
Yeah. Now here's a load of AC tractors going to this in Louisiana, Missouri on a Sioux Line flat car. So here's that Southern with those TCs. These are, here's one you probably haven't heard of, Titan tractors.
Mhm. Yeah.
On Chicago Northwestern flat car. This is a nice shot of I think those are farm alls.
Mhm.
Guy giving the high sign there for something. Now he's getting ready to uncouple. That's a Carmelock uncoupler lever on there. Wow. Okay, I got a lot of small photo. Here's string of tractors. L&N. These are okay. This is in Louisville, Kentucky, at the Farmall plant, probably where they're making the A's or Cubs, because they got a lot of tractors in each flat car. And Farmall had a plant in Louisville. So yeah. Here we go. This is U.S. Marine Corps tractors on Union Pacific flat cars in Los Angeles. And they've got the 2 blades in the middle and tractor on each end over the trucks. Here we are delivering. Boy, are those Olivers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you would want to unload that very carefully.
Yeah. Yes. Now this one is really nice. This looks like farm alls look, loaded on what was a very typical automobile, auto hauler.
I hope you don't have to go over a hill. Doesn't look like you have much clearance there.
You know what I
Yes.
think that is? I think that's a guy that refurbishes tractors, and that's at one of those big tractor shows. Because
Ah,
I've seen them hauled that way, and they usually use an antique truck.
okay.
That's just my guess at it.
Well, it was just a photo that caught my mind, so I saved it. Here's that one again. Okay, here's Trevor's tractor load on the layout. In that scene, those tractors look pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a loading up some small international crawlers on a auto deal. You know, you can see this guy delivers automobiles because he's got the frame up overhead for a car, but he's just hauling a flatbed trailer. And here we are. This is in Alton, Illinois, unloading some farm hauls. Two guys doing the work and the guy wearing the fancy hat, just,
Yeah, he's making sure there's air in the tires.
yeah. But again, look how all the seats are tipped up so you don't get water sitting in the seats during the,
Yeah.
It had to be quite a choreography, quite a bit of choreography to get those on a flat car.
Yes.
Tightly packed.
yep.
Yeah,
So, and here, you know, here's an overhead shot of the farm haul tractors on someone's flat car. And yeah, they were angled in there, so there was one way they went on and off. Same shot. And here's now this is a treat. This is a Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and Northern Interurban flat car with a load of farm all M's. Some of you may not be familiar with the WCF and N. They did not have a lot of rolling stock. But so,
It's quite a telephone pole there in the background.
well, yeah, that's,
It's,
and that's it for what I got.
well,
So,
thanks, Doug.
wow,
Nice
fascinating.
job.
yeah,
Very good.
yeah, well, Ron's now identified the paint for those Oliver tractors. Let's see I'll see if I can get those decals. I've talked to one person, I haven't heard back from them. I need to get hold of Circus City decals, see if he can do something. I think I've got artwork that's acceptable, so.
All right. Well, like I said, thank you very much, Ron and Doug. And we will skip Thursday next week for Thanksgiving. And we'll be back at it. Let's see, what is that?
Be about the 1st of December.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
December
is it
1.
December 1st. So everybody have a great Thanksgiving and
You too.
drive safely and safe travels if you're traveling. And we'll
Mhm.
see you in 2 weeks. And we'll be looking at some of the video and photos from Mitch's layout.
Oh, looking forward to
Yep.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be fun. So,
Yep, so.
all right. Thanks,
Alrighty.
everybody. Have a good night.
Right.
Good night.
Yeah.